My case is pending in front of an immigration judge at the Charlotte Immigration Court. What papers do I need to send to let the court know that I have more time to file my asylum application under the Mendez-Rojas case? This is part of a video series to help asylum seekers in North and South Carolina exercise their right to apply for asylum under the Mendez-Rojas case. This video is produced by the Duke Law Immigrant Rights Clinic. If you did not find this video by filling out the questions on the Google form about your case status, the information here may not apply to you. Please visit this link and answer the anonymous questions there to ensure that you are receiving up-to-date information that is specific to your situation. These videos are not intended to be legal advice. We recommend that you contact an immigration attorney to get legal advice in your specific case. Your case is pending in Charlotte Immigration Court if you have either had a hearing in the past or have a hearing scheduled in the future, and you have not received a final decision from the immigration judge in your case. You can confirm the status of your case by calling the EOIR hotline. See the video below titled How to Find the Status of My Case for more information. You may want to call an immigration attorney if your notice to appear, or NTA, in immigration court was filed after January 26, 2021, which is the date that the government should have started properly notifying people about the one-year filing deadline. Similarly, you must have received an NTA or been in removal proceedings on or after June 30th, 2016 to benefit from Mendez-Rojas. If you received your NTA after January 26, 2021, or finished your removal proceedings before June 30th, 2016, we recommend that you check with an attorney about your Mendez-Rojas eligibility. In order to exercise your right to apply for asylum more than a year after entering the United States, you will need to send specific papers to the Charlotte Immigration Court by April 22, 2022. We have included links below this video where you can download these forms. There will be both instruction pages with information and the forms themselves that you can fill out with the required information such as your name and address. You can place the instruction pages next to the forms themselves so you can look at the instructions while filling out the forms. First, you will want to fill out a Notice of Class Membership. This is a form where you tell the government that you believe you are a member of the Mendez-Rojas class. You may have received a notice from the asylum office about your eligibility for Mendez-Rojas, but the form you must send is different than that form you may have received. If you did not receive a form from the government, do not worry. You can still send in the Notice of Class Membership. The Notice of Class Membership tells the government that you can file your asylum application more than a year after you entered the United States because of Mendez-Rojas. The Notice of Class Membership looks like this, and you will fill in the places that are yellow with the information that applies to you. Second is a short declaration. The short declaration is a written statement that explains that you encountered, were detained by, or taken into custody by United States immigration officials upon entering the United States or within 14 days of entry into the United States, and that no one from the United States government told you about the one-year asylum deadline. The short declaration looks like this, and you will insert your name, choose the time that you talked to immigration officials, add the city and state where you signed your declaration and then sign the declaration. You may also need to send an asylum application. You only need to send an asylum application if you have not already filed your asylum application. The asylum application looks like this. If you have already filed an asylum application, then you do not need to send another. This form is a little more complicated and may require help from an attorney. There are also guides on how to fill it out yourself, and we have linked a video to help you fill out the asylum application without an attorney below. We have also included a link that might help you find an immigration attorney. Fourth is proof of service. Proof of service is a paper that says that you sent a copy of all of the documents we just mentioned to the lawyers that represent the government in your case. These lawyers work in the Office of the Principal Legal Advisor for DHS, also known as the Office of Chief Counsel. We will discuss proof of service later in the video, but for now you should know that the date that you will write on this form should be the date that you will send out the form. This is because you will need to certify that you are sending copies to the Office of the Principal Legal Advisor for DHS. To summarize, you will need to send a notice of class membership, a short declaration, an asylum application, unless you have already filed one, and proof of service. Where do I send these papers? Once you have prepared the documents we just described, you will need to send them to the Immigration Court. If your case is in the Charlotte Immigration Court, you will use this address: U.S. Department of Justice, Immigration Court, 5701 Executive Center Drive, Suite 400, in Charlotte, North Carolina, 28212. If your case is not with the Charlotte Immigration Court, you can find the address for your court by going to this link and selecting the state where your case was heard. Once you click this state, the site will take you to the list of all of the courts in that state, and you can find the address for the specific court where your case was. If you're not sure what court has your case, you should call the EOIR automated hotline, which will tell you that information. There is a video below titled How to Find the Status of Your Case, which will walk you through how to call the hotline. If your case is not currently in Charlotte Immigration Court, but you now live in North or South Carolina and would like to move it to Charlotte, watch the video linked below on how to move your immigration court hearing to Charlotte. But it is very important that you send your Mendez-Rojas papers to the court where your case is currently located. About a week after you submit your Mendez-Rojas paperwork, you can ask the court to move your case to the Charlotte Immigration Court. You will also need to send a copy of the papers to the Office of the Principal Legal Advisor for DHS. If your case is in the Charlotte Immigration Court, you will use this address to send the copy of your documents: Office of the Principal Legal Advisor for DHS, Atlanta, Charlotte, 5701 Executive Center Drive, Suite 300, in Charlotte, North Carolina, 28212. If your case is not in Charlotte Immigration Court, you will need to go online to find the right place to send the copy of your papers. First, you will need to follow this link. Then, you will filter by state. If, for example, you last lived in Tennessee and your case was heard in immigration court there, you will select Tennessee and then press Apply. The address for the principal legal advisor for the Memphis Immigration Court would be listed there. Write down the address that applies to you on a piece of paper or on an envelope. Write the Immigration Court address on one envelope and the office of the Principal Legal Advisor for DHS on the other. Don't forget that if your case is not in Charlotte, you may need to send your papers to a different address. Sign and date the proof of service form and send that form to the Immigration Court and to the office of the Principal Legal Advisor. When you have put all of the forms in the envelopes and are ready to send your envelopes, you may want to bring your envelopes to a store like UPS, FedEx, or USPS to make sure that you can get a shipping label with a tracking number that will tell you if the Immigration Court received your papers or not. Don't forget that the Immigration Court and the Office of the Principal Legal Advisor needs to have your papers by April 22, 2022. Be sure to keep a copy of your papers for your file, along with the tracking numbers to prove they were delivered to the court and to the government attorney. Bring these copies to your next court date. If you have a hearing before an immigration judge before April 22, 2022, you can provide oral notice to the court about your Mendez-Rojas status according to the settlement agreement. However, because these hearing dates can be changed, it is wise to try to assemble and send the written documents that we have discussed here. If you believe you are a member of Mendez-Rojas Group A or Group B, but you were told you are not a class member, contact the class counsel at mendezrojas@nwirp.org.